And then the next issue Paul wants to address in this whole section is, what is the greater gift? Because this was the big thing for the Corinthians. This was what occupied their attention so much. But before he does that, before he goes to that issue, this big question that was dividing this church, he tells them about a more excellent way, doesn't he? And what's that way? It's the way of what? Love. And chapter 13 is not there by accident. And it's not there just to be read out at weddings. Nothing wrong with reading it out at a wedding, but look at it in its context. He tells them about a more excellent way. Yeah, and it's love. And he says, without love, gifts are nothing. That's right. Gifts are nothing. Prophecy is nothing. Wisdom and knowledge is nothing. Tongues is nothing. Faith even is nothing without love. Even sacrificial giving and martyrdom means nothing. You can have all of these things, but in God's sight, without love, all you amount to is a big, fat zero. And this must have been really hard for the Corinthians when they heard this, because they knew, they would have been cut to the quick. They knew they were not demonstrating love. Who is the truly spiritual man or woman of God? The question is in that man or woman of God, is Christ ruling in their hearts, right? We found that in verse 3. And how's that shown? Well, it's demonstrated by love. And then in verses 4 to 7 of chapter 13, Paul gives a grand description of what this love looks like. He says, this person will be patient because Christ is patient. And if Christ is there, patience will show itself. And he will be kind to others because he's experienced the very kindness of God. He will not be envious of what others have because his heart's content. When you have Christ, you have it all. What else could you want? He will not be arrogant, further on, he says, for he has nothing to boast about except the cross of Christ. He will not be rude, bad-mannered, discourteous, objectionable, because, well, Jesus isn't like that. He will not insist on his own way because, why? The Spirit of God has subdued this rebellion in the heart. And he will be God-centered and others-centered. He will not be irritable or easily provoked because Christ's patient love dominates the heart. Nor will he be resentful, that is, he will not harbor bitterness towards others. He will not rejoice in wrongdoing, delighting in the faults of others, but will rather rejoice in the truth. Paul says, show me a man or woman who is truly spiritual, and this is how the person will live. This is how he or she will act. This is how you will see this person walking through life in the home, in the workplace, in the neighborhood, the world. This is what they'll look like. Perfectly? No, never. We still have the remnants of sin, but this will be the direction of their lives. Love, Paul makes it very clear, is the infallible measure of the Spirit's work. Yeah, that's what we learn. D.A. Carson writes, and I quote, the greatest evidence that heaven has invaded our sphere, that the Spirit has been poured out upon us, that we are citizens of a kingdom not yet consummated, is Christian love.